The Texas Rangers are in the American League Division Series. They are taking on the Baltimore Orioles. 3 wins in this series will get one team to the American League Championship Series. Matt Snyder, who covers baseball for CBS Sports, is joining us now. Matt, at the start of the season, I doubt that many people would have had Texas and the Baltimore Orioles on their list to make the postseason.
No, definitely not. They might have been on some sleeper lists. I know from my perspective regarding the Rangers, I remember going into the year saying their variance is very, very high, which means I could see them finishing 4th place or something. Obviously not last because the A's exist. But I remembered I said their upside is winning the World Series. They need a lot of things to go right. But part of that argument was you get a full season of Jacob deGrom. He can look amazing in the postseason. But, then deGrom goes down early. But so many things went right for them this year. They obviously not everything. They had deGrom go down. Seager was hurt for a little bit. Evaldi was hurt for a while. It's amazing how they have weathered the storm here. And on the other side, the Orioles, again, they won 83 games last year, but I don't think that many people thought that they could jump all the way up into the 100 range. And they did that, and they've just been so consistent. They've had so many young guys develop maybe even sooner than everybody thought. I think maybe next year was the target that everybody thought the Orioles were going to be great, but here they are a year early. So it's a really fun matchup from that perspective.
Couple of underdogs going at it, and we're obviously going to see what comes of this. Matt, obviously the headlines, this postseason, they center on Houston, the Dodgers, Atlanta. But on the national level, I'm wondering if there's any kind of intrigue, even a little bit of it, on this series between Texas and Baltimore.
It's lower. It's lower on the totem pole for sure. I've been pushing hard for this series because I think it's going to be amazing. I honestly, the Twins Astros series doesn't seem that exciting to me. But you have the storyline of the Astros, and they've been there so many times, and everybody wants to keep talking about the sign stealing scandal, and they are the defending champs. But I find this one a lot more intriguing. For example, definitely more intriguing than Dodgers Diamondbacks. I would rank this one as the second most exciting of the round. Obviously, Phillies Braves is amazing, and I can't wait for that. But this one is a really fun one. Like I said, you've got neither team's been to the playoffs since 2016. It's funny that their drought was the exact same number of years on both sides there, and they went about it in completely different ways. The Orioles completely tore it down to the studs, built it up by tanking for a lot of years in a row. They haven't really spent on free agents at all. Meanwhile, the Rangers kind of, they didn't completely tear it down. They did kind of bottom out. They had a bad year a couple of years ago, but they spent big just on a few players, and they spot filled around them. And I think when you bring up you spent big, people think, oh, they just bought, this playoff berth. Not really. They bought a few guys, but they filled around them with player development, with some savvy trades. Like I said, it's really fun to look at how they contrast and how they rebuilt themselves, but they're in a similar situation in how quickly things turned around.
No doubt they've been very strategic in all of that, Matt. And, even critics or fans even of the Rangers here at home, they know this is going to be a tall order for the pitching squad. What do you like and don't like about Texas in this series?
Well, the main thing I don't like about the Rangers is how unbelievably unpredictable they are. They were like the best team in baseball for the first half of August. Then they lost 16 of their next 20. Then it looks like they got hot and they were going to win the division. Then they stumbled a little bit and lost the division to the Astros. Then you think, oh, okay, well, they're probably going to fly from Seattle to Tampa Bay, get their teeth kicked in. Nope. Then they win 2 from the Rays, and now they advance. You just have no idea who's going to show up for this Rangers team. I do think that while it looked like the starting pitching was going to be a problem going to the playoffs, Jordan Montgomery has been really steady down the stretch. He looked like an ace in game 1. Nathan Evaldi, who was one of the best pitchers in baseball in the first half, but then went down with injury, struggled a lot after he came back. He was nails in Tampa Bay in game 2. It looks like they kind of have that solidified a little bit there. So that's what I like, is that with their offense, who can be one of the best offenses in baseball, it looks like the starting rotation might be a problem, but it looks like they might have those first 2 slots settled a little bit. And really, Dane Dunning as a number 3, he's formidable.
Yeah. Lastly here, what are the odds makers saying about the series?
The Orioles are favorites, but not heavy favorites. It's one of the closest series to a pick'em. The Braves are way more heavily favored over the Phillies. The Dodgers are really, really heavy favorites over the Diamondbacks. And then the Astros are heavy favorites in their series against the Twins. So this one is handicapped as the closest one. The number one seed is always going to be the favorite. They have 3 home games. They're the number one seed. They've won more games. The Rangers just had to burn some pitching in the first 2 games of the series. But it shows how most people think that this is going to be a close matchup, given that the odds are the closest on this series.
We're going to be watching all weekend long. Matt Snyder, thank you so much, for Major League Baseball writer, also on-air analyst for CBS Sports. We thank you so much for chatting with us and for all of your insight, Matt. Take care.
Thanks for having me.